All right, so we're live. Hi, guys. First off, I hope everyone's doing well, staying safe, staying healthy. It's a crazy time we live in right now. Everybody seems to have something. It's crazy flu, all kinds of like low-end corona going around. Just stay safe. Stay safe. Clean those hands as much as possible. Don't let anyone breathe on you. If they do, just throw that elbow, okay? Just that's going to get them out of there, and then wash your elbow off later. Easy peasy. First, I want to show off my Christmas gift made by my sister-in-law as a complete surprise to me. She did not consult. She didn't do anything. She got a cry cut machine. I hope I said that right, ladies, men who use it. Let me know. Hashtag feminism, hashtag equality. So Isopod Life, I think it's awesome. I'm going to see how much it would cost to get more made. If you want one, let me know. They will cost you money because they're not from me. So otherwise, I would probably ship them out for free because I'm a big softie. Rick's here already. Good times. So those of you who have been watching may have heard that we have an ad today. So another ad. This is from my man, Jose Avila, over at the Bug Hub. This is his business card right here. We're going to post the links up. There you go. Look at this. Got everything there. Feeders, keepers, and more. He provides keepers. So if you're looking to have a keeper for your insects, call Jose. These are the vents that he designed, and he sent me a few. I was already impressed with the design. Seeing it online and seeing him use it in the last video he was in, or the first video he was in. And hey, Henry. So anyway, I was impressed with it. So this is the main part of the vent. So he has two sizes. I believe this is the 8-inch, and then there's this is the 2-inch, and there's an 1/8-inch one, I believe he said. I wanted the 2-inch because I put these on bigger bins. I have actually too many. I'm going to get some bigger bins to spread out my collection. So it has an insert. This is the one that I would use to put a smaller screen in, maybe, if I had one of small mankai, a small species. So this just fits in here one way and then snaps closed. And you can see how sleek that is. Very sturdy. And if you put in too many, say you set up a bin with 4 vents and you had Hoffmann-Segai in there, and then you got rid of your Hoffmann-Segai for some reason because you're really dumb. That's the best species. The king, the undisputed king of ice pods. But say you get Armadillidium and you need way less ventilation. So they come with a cover as well. This is just a flat cover that snaps in. You take that other insert out, put this on, and boom. They're super reasonable priced. He prints them himself. So if there's any problem with a unit, he just destroys it there, gets rid of it right there. No problem. So you literally just cut the hole, put this on, screw this on to the tightness of your desire, which for me was as tight as it would go. And you're good to go. Super easy. Super easy. It's there basically permanently. It lasts as long as your container. So I say, go for it. They have my stamp of approval. So I literally have used 2 other vents produced by people. This one I like the best. So I recommend this one. This one is ISO Buddies approved. Okay. Well, let's bring Morris on, and then we're going to do our drawing. Hopefully that's what a couple of you are here for. I see Menagerie joined us. Scott Ellicott, he's done freezing his ants. He came in. So Morris and I are going to talk about species that maybe ought not be kept by most people. And he is apparently surrounded by deadly invertebrates on his desk that he's going to have right with him. And he has an example of an animal that maybe shouldn't be kept by everyone behind him as well. So, but I fully believe in his abilities to keep these animals. So Morris, welcome to the show.
Howdy, thanks for having me.
We're going to do the drawing. Then we're going to talk about substrate. Then we're going to talk about scary creatures. Not necessarily all scary, but okay. So, and I'm going to say here that I'm going to do a second drawing next week on Facebook on the ISO Buddies page. So we're going to do a second drawing on next week's show with Scott Ellicott, who's in the comments right now. So I have, what I did is I lost the book. I put 10 names because we had 10 comments on the video right here. Okay. All numbered. Then I put the numbers in this cup. I'm going to draw one number out, and then we're going to read off our winner. And I don't know all of your names, so it's going to be your goofy ass YouTube name, whatever that is. So I pulled out number 6. I don't know who that is yet. I don't know if you can see it. Clearly that's a number 6, right?
I can't tell.
You can't tell? Let's see.
No, dude, it's not focusing.
It's almost a number. You can kind of see that. Anyway, it's a number 6. You'll have to trust me. I wrote it super small. So number 6 is David Koosman. Koosman? I don't know how he says it, but he's the winner. I'll try to contact him after this, unless he's one of you folks in here right now. I don't think so. Liz Williamson's here. Is that your sister? Your mom?
No, that's my sister.
Ex-wife? I don't know. Okay, sister. A lot of ex-wives keep the name now. I don't understand that, but I don't know. Hashtag true love. I'm doing hashtags a lot now. Sorry. It's really annoying to everyone else, but really funny to me.
I mean, I don't think they work in real life.
I know, but I have a guy. Well, he's not a friend anymore, but he used to say lol. He would say lol in real life, and you'd be like, what? Laugh out loud. He was pronouncing an anagram, and spoiler alert, that guy sucks.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've done it a couple times. Like, yeah, man, I did it for the lulls.
That kind of is a thing. That kind of is a thing. But instead of actually laughing at a joke, he would say lol, which is like, just literally laugh out loud. Just laugh, and you will have succeeded at saying lol. At the same time, I'll understand that you laughed.
Well, I mean, if we're going to use digital vernacular, you might as well say, oh, man, that's cringe. That's so cringe.
I like cringe-worthy, but I don't say cringe. But we're eating into time to talk to you. I got a private chat? What is this?
How'd you get a private chat?
Is that you?
Yeah, that's me. Oh, when I went into when I logged in, you couldn't hear me because you didn't have your headphones on.
I've never looked at that, and I can see. Then I glance. Yeah, I was busy working on the other contest. So David Koosman, I don't know who that is, but I'm excited to send him. He's going to get at least 150 isopods. So at least 8 species. I got to get rid of some stuff, kind of is what it is. And I wanted to just like get some people to watch this damn show because I feel like it's worth watching. A lot of people are saying what they've learned from it. So, and not from me, from you guys, from the guests. So get hype. Thanks, Henry. I try. Yeah, we're going to say get hype. Hashtag get hype. Hashtag lol. So tell me about the process of how you designed your substrate, which I have in 10 of my bins. I probably need a reload. I probably need to contact you to get a reload because I need to change out some of their guys' stuff. So anyway, so again, IsoBuddies approved. The smell of this stuff when you open a bag of at least a Permian black, it's like your grandpa's like pipe tobacco and a forest had a baby. That's the smell. That's the smell that I get.
Okay. I mean, that's one heck of an endorsement, man. Grandpa's pipe tobacco and a forest. As far as developing them, I started off with the silver blend first, which is my tropical blend. And, I liked ABG is a standard, that's the standard. And so I liked that. And I wanted to essentially do ABG without tree fern fiber. And the reason I didn't want to use tree fern fiber is one, it's really expensive. Two, it's not really sustainably harvested. I mean, there are a couple of companies, I think Orchiata is one of them, that does a great job of sustainably harvesting this material, but overall that's not the case. And, and I found out after I'd already been doing this business for a little while that it was bringing in some really funky flower pot fungus. So, I just didn't use tree fern fiber. But as far as, everything else that's in it, every component has been selected to work synergistically with the other components. bark has irregular shapes, and that helps prevent compaction. Same with, the charcoal that I use and crush myself. That way it's got a little bit more of a unstandard shape, again, to promote or to
Aeration.
inhibit compaction. Yeah, and aeration as
Right.
well. Anyway, so that's the one I started with was silver, and then I needed to make something for deserts, right? Because you got to. So I made the red
I mean, your
blend.
desktop scorpions right in front of you, so I get it.
Yeah, they're. I think I'll show those later when we get to the other part,
Fair.
right?
Yeah, for sure.
So red was, I did some research into red. A lot of people, and a lot of, sorry, this fungus gnat's going nuts in front of the camera. Embrace the gnat, baby.
We can't even see it, so don't worry about it.
So red took a little bit more research, just because thinking about desert blends and really, there's not a whole lot of information out there in regards to a desert style substrate. So what I did was I made something very similar to a succulent soil that you would buy. And after I'd gotten it to the point where it had the properties that I wanted, thought that a bioactive substrate should have, I started testing pH and things like that. And well, it's acidic, which most plants like. But if you're talking about desert species of plants, for the most part, they're in very alkaline soil. So I started cutting in dolomite into it to buffer the pH a little bit, things like that. But something tells me this is making people stop watching. They just want to hear about black. So
we have 16 viewers. Now, I'm fascinated that there's actually we have enough people that keep arid species that I think that knowing that there's a better quality arid soil out there, like that's not acidic. How do you test? I'm going to put the link for your Facebook page so you can contact.
Okay.
So you can contact Morris to find out how to get his soil, or if you have any questions about his different mixes. So how many mixes do you have? Like 8?
No, I've got 3 that are. I've got 3 that are always in production.
Okay.
Silver, red, and black. Those are always going, and I make a couple custom blends for some customers that I've got. Green Acres inverts, they get a custom blend, and when it's packaged, it gets the Permian Exotics label, and then written down Green Acres black blend. And so
okay, so it's for them. It's for Green Acres.
Yes, it's for them.
That's the equivalent of someone walking in a spider web from far away. Like, that's my favorite thing to see in the world. Is someone walking in a forest and all of a sudden they walk into one of those big spider webs and freak out for no reason. You just see them start doing air kung fu. It's the best. So unless that thing's bothering you.
It's traveling right in my line of sight. And so that's what the thing is. Normally it's not that big a deal, right? Like I'm infamous on the Facebook groups for saying embrace the gnats,
I can see you trying to embrace it.
Oh, I'm trying to embrace this little sucker hard.
Trying to embrace the hell out of it. So now Green Acres, sorry, does Green Acres get like a proprietary blend then? Like I couldn't buy that from you. I'd have to buy it from them.
I mean, she sends customers that are hers over to me saying, "Hey, I need the Green Acres blend." Or can I get and so I'll make it for them, but that is hers. I don't make it and sell it as a production blend. That's just hers.
But you would to me, right? Oh, for those of you just joining us,
for it.
I know I'm messing around. So the black is generally for isopods, yeah.
Yeah, black is
and the red is for
temperate and arid. And then
Temperate and arid
silver's
is
tropical.
the red. Silver's
Yes, sir.
tropical. And these can be used for plants as well that are from those regions.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I thought you were going to be like, no, I didn't say that. Your face was going somewhere else. Oh, okay. So they can be used for plants.
Yep.
That thing is chock
Absolutely.
full. That little greenhouse is chock full.
It's a mess, man. This is actually one of the ones that I made with my students
Okay.
back in the good old days of 2020. Actually, it was 2019 when I made this with my students. So
I didn't think I would look back at 2019 and be nostalgic, like miss it.
I mean, 2019 was pretty great, man. You had Betty White. You had
You did.
those two weird faced brothers from France that were on TV. They were still alive. Sean Connery
I
was
don't know who
still
that is.
alive. Oh, the Bogdanovs?
No, I don't even know. What is that?
The Bogdanov brothers, they were like the French version of Carl Sagan.
Okay,
And
got you.
yeah, so they had a pretty successful TV show, and then they hit the plastic surgery really, really, really hard. And but
Not good.
no, not at all. Did you look them up?
I'm gonna right after this. We'll put a link in the video description. Stop trying to bring culture to my show, would you?
Okay.
What is this? Thankfully my ant setup's not ideal for gnats. Yeah, ants aren't good for that. But I think this arid soil would be good for ants. I'm gonna look into that.
Could be for like your desert species, like harvester ants would probably be really good on it.
Yeah, I feel like it would be really good. Like even if you kept it a little moist, it would be good for them to burrow into.
I'm looking at it right now, and I'm debating whether or not I want to go grab the enclosure.
It's all right. Your camera kind of sucks anyway.
Okay.
She'll get pissed? Who's in there?
That would be Tiger Butt. She's
what is Tiger Butt?
Tiger Butt is my GBB, my Chromatopelma cyanopubescens tarantula. And where they're from, it is extremely, extremely dry, even though it's, northern South America. But it's a very, very dry climate. So, the challenge was for me when I was developing these substrate blends was to have something that could sit, without a drainage layer, not get soggy, not get super compact, and still sustain plant life. And I've succeeded because this little build has been going on for a while now, well, a couple years almost. So, I think I did all right.
I've heard nothing but, and I've had nothing but success with your substrates. So I believe in the products. Even though I've only used one, I imagine that the same amount of thought and consideration went into the other two.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, I had those before black was even, in the noggin.
Well, and I feel like it's such a big deal, even for, like you're saying, a tarantula or a scorpion that doesn't use the substrate, like a millipede or isopod would, because they're on it all the time. So they're going to be on something, like you said, with the right pH, the right distribution of, like, I don't know, particulates. It's going to be healthier for them. It's going to be a better setup. And that's what we want, ideally, like we're going to talk about in a minute, is better husbandry for our animals, like something that's more natural for what their evolution was. So
yeah, no, absolutely. I'm all about advancing husbandry for the hobby and for professionals too. Just because you can crank out snake after snake after snake doesn't mean you know how to build a bioactive setup. And I'm not throwing shade at anybody. These setups are not hard to do. It just takes a little research.
Right.
But, I'm all about advancing that husbandry. We give these animals better care. They're going to give us better enjoyment. Because if you're not getting any enjoyment out of your animals, then why do you even have them?
Yeah, I don't
So
understand like the snake tub. Like I get it if you're breeding snakes, but if you have 4 snakes and they're in tubs, like I just don't understand that. It might work for you. Please don't unsubscribe. But we love having you as a guest, as a viewer. But I don't understand that mentality. Unless I guess you're getting them out or something, or giving them some enrichment outside of that tub.
yeah, and then I think too, though, it's a lot easier. You know, if it's 4 snakes in bins, that doesn't sound like a lot to us, and that doesn't
Yeah.
sound like a lot to these people that breed snakes professionally. But you know, for just somebody that likes snakes and isn't going to breed, doesn't have a whole lot of money, a solid bin, you know, like a Rubbermaid tub, you can make it look better than just empty bin. You know, this is some cave roaches, but it's been prettified a little bit.
Are
And
those the
again, I
extinct
think
ones you were
that's,
talking about?
yeah, those are the extinct cave roaches
Okay.
from
We're gonna get into that in a
Mindanao.
minute, too.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure, we can talk about whatever you want, man. It's your world, but I'm just living in it.
Well, our last episode was just great conversation. So, and I think it was educational enough to qualify as a valuable live stream. So, we're going to get off of the substrate for a bit. We'll probably come back to it
Okay.
and touch on it. I imagine we'll come back to it over and over. I'd like to save Stumpy for the end. Is that all right?
Sure.
All right, or near the end.
Yeah, she's
anyway.
just. Are we really?
No, we're not near the end. I said or near
Oh.
the end. No, we're not even
okay.
close, dude. Come on. This is an hour and a half show, at least. Minimum. But you're running late, so we'll cut it off right about then. I'll just end broadcast at 10:30 my time. Or 9:30? 9:30. 10 o'clock my time. That's an hour and a half. I can do math.
You and I are on the same time zone, dude.
So it's the same at your house?
Yeah, I'm Central Time Zone.
That's not that late, Grandpa. Aren't you like 26?
Yeah.
You can stay up.
I mean, yeah, but I do get up at 4:30 every morning. So
I've got a 3-year-old. So do I. So
yeah.
Sorry, she'll be 4.
Fair enough.
She'll be 4. Don't tell her I said she was 3.
I'm telling.
So we want to talk about species that shouldn't be kept by everyone. Like, they look cool and they would be neat to keep, but if you don't know what you're doing, at the very least, you're endangering your animal and not doing a good service for that animal. At the worst, you could be doing danger to yourself or others. So, as we said, you have multiple deadly species right in front of you on your desk. And again, I wouldn't recommend that for everyone. But now, are they? They're scorpions, right? What have you got? I forget what you said they were.
Okay, so I've got right in here Hottentotta. That'll ruin your day. Yeah, I've got Hottentotta jacari right here.
Sounds like you just scattered.
Bicolor.
Okay.
I'm the scat man. Skibby-dibby-dip. Oop-a-doop-doop.
Hottentotta to a scorpion.
So, Hottentotta in there. I've got Deathstalker in there. No. Okay, Cereopagopus hottie. That's a spider in there.
Okay.
Hottentotta, Deathstalker. Hottentotta, African fat tail, aka Androctonus bicolor.
Okay.
So I've got those in here on the desk.
Now, obviously, the challenges with those are not getting tagged, which honestly probably isn't that hard.
It's really not hard. Where'd they go? One moment.
That's not good. We're talking about deadly invertebrates, and you're like, where'd they go? Not a good sign.
Yeah.
Oh, this your tongues. Yeah.
This is how you don't get tagged, y'all.
It's very easy. Just get some
Yeah.
tongs and be careful so you don't hurt anybody that you're tonging. But
Oh, well,
you
I
know,
mean, in my case, dude, it's take the roach, pinch its head, drop it in, close the tub.
now you pinch its head. Why? Because it could be
I
endangering.
pinch, not really, not with these species. Their venom is pretty potent, as you might imagine. So,
Yeah.
I just pop the head mostly because it's easier for the animal to work it, I suppose.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fair. That's fair. I have to do
I
some
do it with
serious
all of
damage to
them.
my roaches. So I have to do serious damage to my roaches to make them palatable for my ants. Because it takes a long time for them to actually die, for their whole ganglion system to die, because they'll kick and
Right.
walk around and they don't have a head. They're chopped almost in half, and they're
I've
all
found that if you crush the thorax, the body doesn't move anymore.
right. I'll have to try that out because
Yeah,
it's
try
not
that
working
on a
for me.
dubia.
That's the ones that I'm using. So my ant colony right now can take out. It takes them like 3 hours to hollow out a dubia, an adult dubia, which is intimidating to me because if they need that much protein,
That's pretty fast.
Yeah, they don't mess around. Like it's an immediate swarming response.
Ants are the dairy cows of the ant world.
Kind
Put
of.
that on
It
a
depends on the
t-shirt.
species. Dairy cows in the ant world. That's a long t-shirt. But now I will say Venom, speaking of Venom, like it works differently on different things. So back to ants, there's a species called Pogonomyrmex, the pogos, that are really commonly kept. Like they're a harvester ant, like we were talking about. And they are, I believe, one of, if not the first species to be allowed to be shipped over state lines. Now you can ship them anywhere in the 48, but their venom to us is annoying. Like it hurts. It's no joke. But to like a lizard, I was considering putting them in a multi-species vivarium as another species. But to a reptile, like it will straight murder them. So, which kind of makes sense because that would be their predator, right? That's who they want to protect from. That venom would be developed.
Like how eating a hot chili pepper for us puts our mouths on fire, but birds and reptiles, it doesn't bother them at all.
Right. And then
so yeah,
which is weird. I wonder how that developed. Oh, anyway, so now these species, as long as you keep them and respect them is a big deal. Their upkeep isn't that big a deal though, right? On those guys, they're in small little containers on your desk.
Oh yeah, man, I'm not gonna change the substrate out on them. There's no need to. They're I mean, these guys are kept bone dry. They get all their moisture needs from the food they eat. So oh no, the sand has gone bad. Said no one ever.
As long as and their poop is probably just basically dust, right? If they're that dry.
Yeah.
They use all the liquid from it, so who cares?
Yeah. And even then, like this one, I might change substrate on.
Yeah.
You see?
Oh yeah, he's pissed. He is pissed.
He's always pissed.
Okay. Is that a murderer?
Always. No. This is a safe one. This is Pandinus imperator.
He doesn't want you to know he's safe.
He's like, I'm dangerous.
Look at him. He is. Fool. I've never seen a live scorpion like that angry. Except in maybe
pretty
movie.
Funny. It's pretty
He's
funny,
ready to
man.
go. He's like, throw down, bro. And he's totally safe. It would just be annoying to get stung by that thing.
Yeah, it's like a wasp and a mosquito bite.
You can't compare those two. Wasp bites suck.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's kind of their point, right?
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be fun.
So is it a wasp or a mosquito?
It's both, because it itches like a mug.
Oh, okay. All right, so it's going to give you an itch and a painful jab.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but it's not going to kill you, obviously.
No, you probably don't even need to put calamine lotion on it. Like, you remember that stuff from back in the day, that pink calamine lotion?
They still have it.
Nuts.
Yeah. for when you have like chicken pox or, like you said, poison ivy, massive mosquito bites. When you're allergic, that stuff's great.
That one I keep not damp, but there's certainly it's a little bit more moisture dependent than these desert species that I've got. So I don't even know what substrate it's on. I didn't make the substrate. I didn't make the container it's in. It came to me like this. But I did put springtails in there. So now if the scorpion poops, who cares?
There you go. I didn't know there were German scorpions, apparently, Henry. I don't think of Germany as having an area dry enough for them. But I guess they don't necessarily need dry, right?
I think he's talking about the band.
Oh.
Here I am, dun, 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 rock you like a hurricane.
I forgot to mention Morris is super musical, and we're very happy to have your face this time. Thank you so much.
I'd like to say you're welcome, but I didn't do it for you. Did it for
the
very
audience.
Special woman. My mom. She said, "Mijo, you're so handsome. Show your face, mijito." So
see. I had to put on cologne so I didn't feel. I had to put on cologne for this episode, so I didn't feel like I was, getting outclassed the whole time. All right, you got it. Sorry, Henry, I didn't get the joke. I only hear my own jokes. I'm sorry, man. It's my special gift. So other species that people maybe shouldn't keep without a huge investment or time crunch. I think a lot of like any crocodilian, right?
Yeah, obviously. Crocodilians.
Some massive turtles, tortoises.
Some.
We're going to get to that later. But like
birds.
We got birds. Birds is a huge time crunch. Birds are very sensitive.
I mean, there are so many that really should not be pets that people have turned into pets. That shouldn't be, but they are.
Give us some examples.
Sure. Dogs. They are a wolf. That's a wolf that we've turned into a pug. I mean, they're great pets. Don't get me wrong. I'm being kind of tongue in cheek with that one, but some good examples would be birds, man. A lot of birds should not be kept as pets. Like a lot of the bigger passerine birds, a lot of the bigger macaws, they're gorgeous, beautiful, and very intelligent, but most people do not have a schedule that allows them to be with that bird for 5 hours a day, which is what they need.
Or the dedication even. Like maybe they have the schedule, but they don't have beat a bird, and that bird needs that solid bond. When I worked in pet stores, there were birds that would bond to me that I couldn't be around if they wanted to sell that bird, because that bird didn't want anything to do with the prospective customer. They were like, "Hey, where's Josh? What's happening there? I need my buddy." But they need that bond. Like they need that organism, I guess, that other organism, because they're social.
Yeah, they're social creatures. Exactly.
Like extremely so.
Yeah. I mean, all you got to do to really reinforce that point, though, is, when's the last time you saw a flock of birds change direction at the same time? You know what I'm saying?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful to see a big
it's amazing to watch. Yeah.
Why you can't keep sparrows? Because you need 1,000 of them, and they'll just want to poop on your car. I think some of the other birds too that I'm seeing a lot now is birds of prey, particularly owls.
Thanks, Harry Potter.
Yeah, they make horrible pets, but they are adorable. Like that said, I want one. You're talking about time crunch. They're dumb.
Yeah, owls are dumb.
That's a class. That is a Stein right there. I didn't know they were dumb.
Oh yeah, they're not very smart at all. That's
odd.
Nature said, "Hey, let's evolve these guys to have these massive eyeballs. We're running out of space in the skull. What do we do? Shrink the brain. Shrink it."
So their brain basically processes sensory information because their hearing is amazing.
Absolutely.
Too.
Yes. Their brain is just processing visual
Murder.
and yeah, murder.
Their whole brain is geared to murder. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair. Which you don't see in those videos that people post on Facebook and Instagram. I am under the impression, I've been reading that all birds of prey are really difficult to keep because they have to eat almost constantly. Their metabolism is so crazy. You have to feed them like 2-3 times a day, or they run the risk of literal starvation. So, and then like say with an owl, good luck keeping up with their schedule. So, because making them into diurnal animals is not good husbandry either.
Which is why you do it with the burrowing owl. Okay. I'm just kidding. No, guys. Owls, birds of prey are not pets.
You get a cage that's like 1 foot above ground and then 6 feet of dirt. You're good to go. Scott, you should get an owl.
I want to be buried in.
Right? Scott's from Canada. I thought everyone had a pet owl in Canada. Or is that a moose?
No, they've got geese as pets.
Okay. All right. Geese.
Really ornery
they can keep
geese.
Them. They can keep them. I hate a Canada goose more than anything on earth. I think owls are, like, they would be really cool. I think it would be cool. But I had to stop myself. Like, I got a hedgehog, and I realized how poorly designed as pets hedgehogs are. I didn't realize it until I got one. Yeah, and I'd heard all the millions of people told me, like, why would you get a hedgehog? Like, they didn't just tell me, like, I read responses to people that have them, even that keep them and breed them. And they're not great. They're definitely not for everyone. They don't care about you, no matter what you do. They don't really bond at all. They'd rather just be on their own. They're literally horrible pets.
Yeah. And then the whole anointing thing. Like, do you know about the anointing thing?
You? Yeah, they lick you and then like make the foam all over themselves.
Yeah, out of their poop.
I didn't realize it was out of their poop. I thought it was.
They chew on their turds and make it foamy, and then they rub it all over their backs.
That I didn't know. I know that they did it with things that they smelled that were new or environmental, because I thought it was basically there to discourage predators who track by scent, right? So there's like nasal camouflage. I didn't know they did it with their poop. That's gross.
You know, man, it's pretty gross. It's like, but that's how the hedgehog do. So
now Scott's saying that in Canada they have ravens. Is that pet ravens or just wild ravens, Scott? Because I'm with Menagerie on this one. I would love a pet raven.
I'm willing to bet it's probably wild ravens because you can't own them in America. You can't own corvids. So I'm willing to bet because I know, but Canada's got even worse laws than we do.
Probably. Yeah, I don't know, worse. I think that's a better law, keeping ravens out of people's clutches.
I mean, it's a good law, right? I'm not disagreeing with the spirit of the law. I'm just saying that Canada's definitely got more draconian measures than the United States when it comes to pet ownership, I think. I'm willing to bet.
Yeah. Okay, Scott says that you can't own them, but you can train them. Because you can train wilds to do stuff, kind of, like to bond them.
And
you can bond wild ravens.
You can also train them, under falconry. I think because they're birds of prey, they fall under the same federal law structure for, keeping and training falcons and hawks and eagles for falconry.
Special licensing. Which I think by that point, if you get the special licensing, you are certifying that you know what you're doing. Which is not everybody like me that's just like, oh, it'd be so cool to have a raven. Until it grows to full size and you realize it's the size of a moderate eagle.
And it smells awful.
Probably. Shit's huge all over your house. No good.
Oh, yeah.
Because what's the cage for that? You can't have a cage. It's bigger than my house.
No, you'd have to You'd have to keep it in a mews. That's like the technical term for birds of prey cages, a mews.
Okay.
So
I feel like I would want to set up a pole barn for something that big and just let it have the run of the pole barn. Do you know what I'm saying?
yes,
Something that big.
I'm down with that. That's okay. You can do that for sure.
Now I want a pole barn. I want to move to Texas and build a pole barn and just have all kinds of stuff living in there.
Well, if you move down here, leave your politics where you got them.
I'm not trying to get myself killed, so I'll leave my politics here. So
Ooh.
I'll just keep them quiet. Not trying. Too many guns pointed at me down there once I start going with my politics. Yeah, you got to have special license to keep your politics in Texas too.
Yes.
So we've got snakes. I think there's a lot of snakes that I don't think people should keep. Except for a serious hobbyist or keeper. What would you call it at that point? Like a serious hobbyist? I think that's enough.
I mean, if they're you know what, that's a whole other discussion for another time, right? Like, at what point does a hobbyist become a professional, or does, that, whatever. But yeah, there's so many snakes that should not be pets. Cobras, rattlesnakes,
the little vipers,
anything venomous, obviously should not be a pet.
I feel like the ability, okay, so with your invertebrates, they have to do a certain thing to strike you, and they're pretty slow about it, unless you're in their face. But a snake, I feel like a snake is so much faster and has so much more reach.
Yes and no. I've got spiders that they're not fast. They're Super Saiyan fast.
Okay. Is
they
that
teleport.
old world tarantulas?
Yes. Heck, I've got a couple of new worlds that are that fast. Like my Salmopaeus are lightning quick.
But they're not dangerous in any sense.
It's gonna give you, if you get bit by a Salmopaeus, you're gonna have a pretty bad day. Because they actually don't have the urticating hairs like other New World species. So they evolved more potent venom. Good trade-off. But yeah, they're lightning fast.
I have such a bad reaction to those hairs. I would rather probably have a more venomous bite than to get those hairs. Because when they flick those hairs, to me, forget it. I would cut my hand off to get rid of that itch. It's bad news.
Yeah, it's not fun. But
I still want an Arizona blonde. That's going to be my spider soon.
That's a great tarantula to start out with, man.
Oh yeah. I fell in love at Ophi Spider-Verse. I had to have one as soon as I encountered his. So
I will say this though, they can give new owners a heart attack because that species can fast for so long. Just go on a hunger strike.
Okay.
For example, this lady I worked with, she got an H.L. Cody's for her daughter for Christmas last year, and it finally started eating again in October.
Oh my God! So 10 months.
Yeah.
So
and that's not even like the longest one that I've read about. I saw on Facebook just the other day, somebody was talking about how theirs went 470 something days. And I mean, that's what they do. They're it's like what we were talking about earlier with, before we went live, when we were talking about, sort of the metabolism of these animals. Their metabolism is not quick. It is not even slow. It's a snail is their metabolism speed. So
the blondes. That's crazy. You're saying that now as I'm watching my snails decimate some salad that I just put in there. My snails are pigs. But I get what you're saying. So now, going back to snakes a little bit. So Menagerie said that other than the rear-fanged guys, as far as venomous snakes, the rest should be severely limited. So rear-fanged would be like the false water cobra, that kind of a thing?
Yeah, hog
The ones that have to
nose.
kind of chew on you. They got to kind of chew on you to get you venomated. Okay.
Exactly. And, even then, I'm not even going to say we need laws to stop people from having these animals. I think if you're going to do something, that's your decision. And if you're an adult, you can make that decision. Is it a good decision? Probably not. But you can make that decision. Do I think you're crazy for wanting a king cobra? Absolutely. Do I want to go into your house and see it? Yes. But do I want to live there? No.
Do I want you to open the cage while I'm there? No. Because they're fast too. You're going to be locked in a room with a cobra?
God, they're so fast.
No, and they're huge. The full-grown ones are huge.
Yes, they're the largest venomous snake in the world.
King cobras, they're amazing though. It's amazing to watch them. So ball pythons, ball pythons go on hunger strikes forever too, bastards. Just refuse food, like no thanks, I'm not gonna eat that anymore. They're the toddlers of the snake world.
So I mean, snakes. Obviously, the venomous stuff, it's probably not a good idea to try and pet those. And I don't mean pet like with your hand. I mean pet as in turn into a pet. Giant snakes, retics, Burmese, anacondas. I'm sure I'm missing a few, but there are a lot of large, heavy-bodied snakes that really shouldn't be pets. I mean, don't get me wrong. Granted, these animals have been captive bred for hundreds of generations now at this point, but should they be a pet? No, not for most people. We're talking about snakes that can easily get longer than 15 feet, that can weigh 200 plus pounds, that is just pure muscle. Yeah. Should this be your pet? No, should not. For 95% of the population.
Now, I will say, like you said, that's the person that made that choice. In my opinion, I think there should be laws and licensures involved with those, just more for the sake of the animal than the humans. Like the human can make that choice, but the animal really didn't. So like you said, next to you on the table right now is a species of roach that's extinct in the wild because they only lived in one cave, which boggles me since they can live in everybody's enclosures. But I don't think the animal got to choose that, to have that crazy life. And they're just being animals. Like they're not domesticated. They still, like, I don't believe that wives' tale where they're like sizing you up as a meal. But I think, if they had a defensive strike and choke you out, having held a half-grown anaconda, I never respected the snake's power until that moment when it went around my neck. And
they are so strong.
Dude, I was like, what is the immediately I was like, all my muscles tensed up, like this is dangerous. This is not a good place to be. It's on my shoulders. Like it could wrap me at any time. Done. There's nothing I could do about it. Until that point, I was like, it's a tube. Like you could just do this or grab its face and squeeze it. No, man. Its face at that point is probably buried into you somewhere.
And it's just throwing on another coil and another coil.
You can probably hardly move because there's no way you're stronger than a python. No way.
It's crazy. They're so strong.
I had no concept. And this thing was only like 7 feet long, basically. So not even a big one, but literally muscle, just muscle. Mm-hmm. And that one was owned by a traveling like zoo. Basically, they do educational shows. So they have special permits or whatever to have her, and her sibling, I guess. And that's, like I said, that's not a pet. That's a display animal. That's brought up.
That's an ambassador.
Yes, an ambassador. Thank you. Which I think, hey, Coral, how you doing? But I think the ambassador animals are so important to the livestock, the lives, and the upkeep of these animals in the wild or in not domestic, but like in captive populations. They're so important. It's so important to have that, and not necessarily at a zoo where you can have like kind of a hands-on experience. Because, like I said, I didn't, as a 40-something year-old man, I didn't respect constrictors whatsoever until that moment in my life. And at that point, I was like, no, people should not have these in their homes. There's no reason to have something this amazingly deadly in your house. Yeah, but at that point, you have to go from, that's where I think you go from professional or like hobbyist to professional, is when you have something that's so difficult to keep and you've committed to
hell. I've been a professional since I was 15 then.
Keeping those deadly critters?
Well, just the turtle, really. I guess we can use that as a segue into Chilonians.
Being turtles?
Yeah, beaning turtles, yeah. I mean,
you gotta talk to me like
amazing.
I'm stupid. You can't just say Chilonians and get away with that. Now I will say they are super crazy hardy for the most part.
Oh yeah.
So I think people get away with thinking they're keeping them successfully for a while, and then all of a sudden they die.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure it happens. I know for a fact it has happened, but not on my watch. None of mine have died because of that.
No, because you know what you're doing. Like, you've done your homework. But I feel like back in the day when you could buy them at Woolworths in a fishbowl, that might be a little bit before anyone's time. But there was a store basically at Walgreens or a small Kmart in the mall. They used to have the red-eared sliders, like 50 of them in a fishbowl. And I think they were like $0.25 a piece or 50 cents a piece.
Like
and they just would sell you that with a fishbowl for like $10. Yeah. It wasn't even the fact that you could put them in your mouth. Like, it was the fact that you're sending this thing home to die, basically, with some child. Thousands, who knows how many red-eared sliders died because of that, and miserable lives. Obviously, babies, it affects them more. Like, poor husbandry affects them way more than an adult. Because, like you said, your Chalissa radiatus, I know I said that wrong. Chilaquiles?
Hey, I like chilaquiles.
Your chilaquiles can go like 3-4 months without eating at all.
Probably yeah, more than that. Yeah, I'm not worried about her not eating right now while it's winter.
Right.
But you know, and again with turtles, they're so tough, and their survival strategy, right? Their reproduction strategy is so favored towards mass spawnings, right? So not all of these babies are expected to live, and this is very messed up because we're talking about captive animals, but imagine if every baby turtle lived. You know how many you know how many more problems we would have with everything because of this over giant massive population of red-eared sliders?
It would be insane. You'd have to walk on them to get into a building. Like, it would just be paved with red-eared sliders.
Yeah.
Toxicity.
Imagine the noises. Imagine the smell.
No, I can't. Like, having had several in a tank, having to clean it so often, forget it.
Dude, turtle tank smell. It's so weird. It makes you regret that scent is the strongest sense tied to memory.
I used to do the mouth siphon to get the water going out of the tank into a bucket. And yeah, I got a big mouthful of that one day and immediately was like, my first concern was not salmonella. I was praying I only got salmonella because I immediately vomited everywhere. And then was miserable. Then realized the water was still going all over my floor. So yeah, it was bad news. It was bad times. So my living room smelled like that it smelled like turtle crap and scented candle for like a week.
Well, there are worse combinations. So, you know, silver linings where we can get them. I guess, let's just keep talking turtles, right? So
Okay.
obviously there are a lot of species of turtle that should not be pets. Yes, they're tough. Yes, they're durable. But again, there are exceptions to that. The Mata turtle comes to mind. They need so much. They almost need like a glass tank that's been closed off with very, very limited um, aeration and ventilation, because if they're breathing dry air, they can get a lung infection and just die. So they need like extreme humidity. But
on top of them being like fully aquatic.
yes, which makes them, to me, I think that makes them easier. Because then you're not having to deal with UVA, UVB, which majority of the people don't offer to their even pet turtles that are good pet turtles, like box turtles.
Yeah.
So I like the aquatic turtles, especially. Well, I mean, Stumpy's right there behind me, but their husbandry is so easy, except when it comes to size. And so a lot of these animals, if they were a more manageable size, would make great hardy starter pets, right? That's why I think ball pythons are so popular, because you can get them in any color. They look beautiful.
Yeah.
And they're a manageable size.
They stay really small for a constrictor. What do they get, like
for a
4 feet long?
constrictor? Yeah. If
so, and that's
maybe
easy
some
food,
big specimens, 6 feet.
which is easy. They have so little space requirement too, as far as the footprint they need. They don't need a 6-foot long enclosure.
Yeah, snakes are.
And they're terrestrial. I didn't know they
cake.
were terrestrial. I didn't know they didn't really go up in trees and stuff. So ball pythons, I didn't realize that they don't need that height at all.
No.
Tub snakes.
Nope.
They are tub snakes. But yeah, there's so many turtles. Like you're saying, the Mata, I didn't even know that. I just knew they got big as crap, and like they don't do anything until it's feeding time, which is probably once a month.
Yeah.
So
well, depends, right? So like during the spring and summer, Stumpy gets fed twice a week.
okay.
But right around mid-November, like the week or so before Thanksgiving, I'll just stop feeding her until about February.
Okay, not even a snack here or there, just nothing.
No, just nothing.
Cool.
And it's not like she's hurting for it. She's not gonna lose much weight, because if it's cold, she's cold, which means her metabolism is slow. My biggest fear, and you talk to anybody that breeds snakes or reptiles that needs some brumation, you don't feed them before going into brumation. That way they're cleaned out. That way it's not going to rot inside of them, which also happens with koi, incidentally. So
they just don't dump while they're in brumation.
Yeah, they can't.
Wow.
They're not working.
I didn't realize that they just shut down so much that they don't even pass their stuff, their mess. So let's just see Stumpy. We've talked about her a lot. I think people need to see Stumpy. You guys are about to see a very blurry turtle. She's like Bigfoot. Now, for those of you that don't know yet, we were just talking about stuff in tubs. Stumpy's in a tub because she's inside because it's below freezing outside. Oh, look at her. She's pissed. She's an alligator snapping turtle, and she is just a beast. Look at that face. Oh, smooches. Smooches. So yeah, she's in the tub. Normally, she would be outside still at just above freezing. I don't think you heard me at all. So I gave him a little rundown on why she's in the tub, because we just like crapped all over keeping things in tubs. that she's in because it's so cold outside right now. So she's
Yeah.
normally kept outside 24/7 all year round.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So what size of a setup do you have for her outside? Basically, describe it.
She's in a Rubbermaid stock tank that's 360 gallons. It's
Okay.
very big, and you know, you might think, well, she needs a bigger thing, this and that. And yeah, I'd love to get her a bigger enclosure, but she's not going to use the extra space. She
Right.
sits in one spot and waits for food. That's what alley snappers do, and she's great
As long
at
as
it.
she has clean water and everything, I don't think
Mm-hmm.
anyone who knows what they're talking about cares. So the people that are gonna like dump on you for having her in too small of a thing don't really know. I think they don't know what they're talking about. So if you have something that doesn't move, you don't need space. Like even at the zoo at Brookfield Zoo, which is number 10 in the top 100 zoos in the nation, on 3 different lists, their alligator snapper is like 60 pounds. So he's a big boy, and he can basically turn around in his enclosure. He can basically turn
That's
around.
all they
That's about
need.
it. Yeah, it's not even as wide as 2 of his bodies. The water's deep enough that if he flipped for some reason, who knows what that would happen, he could flip over. Like, he could flip back and forth if he decided to or something happened. So how was she named
Yeah.
Stumpy?
Oh, because she's got a stump for a tail.
Nice.
Yeah. So yeah, she's got her tail's about half as long as it should be. It gotten bitten off by probably a bigger alley snapper, and so she's got a stump tail, hence the name Stumpy.
Now, does that make her harder to get out of the water? Because I know a lot of
No,
people grab them by the tail. I know you're not supposed to like lift them up out of the water by the tail, but I know that's like a handle for a lot of people
she's
initially.
I've never tried to pick her up by the tail. I've always just gone with the side.
Yeah, I feel like that's way
It's
better.
like
Yeah.
like a spiky hamburger that tries to claw you a little bit. But you get her by that, or you can put it, here's the head right here. There's a
Yeah.
divot under the shell, the carapace, where you can hold. And so I'll do that too as well if I've got to move her somewhere.
Yeah, because
But
her head can't totally go in anyway, right? There's no way. She can't grab you from there.
no. And well, unlike common snappers, alley snappers have almost no neck. It's very short. It
Okay.
is head, neck, shell. So they can't reach. They can't. So if you've got your hands right here above the head, that's
Yeah.
one of the safest places for your fingers.
Beautiful. Now, we had a common snapper here that I found in the road. It was a big boy. He's probably like 24, 25 pounds. And it was at a forest preserve, but he was in the middle of a 4-lane road. And so I pulled over, and the guy behind me pulled over. We blocked the whole, both lanes. And we had a hard ass time getting him, even on land, like handling him to get him over back to the water because he spun so fast. I didn't realize they had that kind of like every time I went to grab him, he'd spin around. So this guy used his flip flop and was tapping him on the head. And he had about 3/4 of his flip flop returned to him because it had a perfect wedge snapped right out of it. But it gave me the chance to grab him, and then we tossed him, and not tossed him, but we, put him in the water.
Put him where he needed to be.
Well, I don't know. The thing was, I don't know if he was coming from there or going to there. So I was like, this is what we can do for you, buddy. Sorry.
Oh, you poor silly turtle.
Yeah, I was like, dude, the road is not a spot for you. Just here you go. Because, it's one of those things they have they have the forest preserve, but then they put or it's like a marsh preserve, but they put a road through it, a 4-lane road through it with signs. Hey, drive safe. No one cares. No one drives. The road is just basically paved in smashed frogs now. So that's about it.
Imagine the smell.
There's a lot of I mean, they're pretty dried out. I imagine when it's fresh, it's pretty bad, or after heavy rain. But when they get rehydrated, I guess.
Juicy.
That's probably juicy. Nice.
The
hazardous.
scientific term.
Now, there's definitely challenges with the snapper. Like, as easy as they are, and like, I know Clint at Clint's Reptiles has called them bulletproof. Like, they can survive a lot. They clearly, like you're talking about, 360-gallon, like, above ground pond, basically.
Yeah.
That is plenty for her, but that seems large to a lot of keepers. 360 gallons seems large, but it's basically a stock tank thing, right?
Yeah. It's for watering horses, cattle, that sort of thing.
Yeah. So now, does she have any land or no?
No, this species doesn't really use it. They females come out to lay eggs. That's about it. Some people have said they've seen them basking. I'm not saying that they don't bask. I'm just saying it ain't common. So
I wonder if they're cold or something. Yeah, I wouldn't. Maybe for an illness or parasite.
Yeah, there's no telling what would perturb them to do that, because she doesn't ever want to even try to come out of the water.
I've never heard of it, so that's crazy. Like, the only setups I've seen for them in zoos are fully aquatic. So the zoos, aquariums, or whatever, it's just a big tank that's not filled all the way, basically. And that's just for us. That's not for the turtle. That's for us to see that they have access to air, basically.
Yeah, because they'll breathe through their butts.
Yes, we talked about this. What did you call it?
Cloacal respiration.
Cloacal respiration. So, because they have that all-purpose hole, I forgot. It's that all-purpose.
Oh, here's internal respiration. A form of respiration. Internal, ENTERNAL, or cloacal respiration.
Oh, internal, not internal.
Yeah, and
like, so you just reprocess it? What the hell? Okay, internal is a little different. That's a skill. That's where you wish you were just wearing a mask after not brushing your teeth. So I still haven't learned, after like 3 years of wearing masks, don't burp into your mask. I still haven't learned to remove my mask to burp. So my eyes water like half the time. It's bad.
Stop. You're fouling the mask, but I can't breathe. Nice, man. That's awful. Like, I'm so glad that we don't have to wear the masks here. So.
Oh, they just took it out altogether?
What do you mean?
The masks, like, you don't. They have no requirements at all.
No. Not in this city. Not in the city that I work in either.
Oh, in the city? I thought it was
whatever.
The whole state.
Well, our governor has said that he's not going to enforce a mandate, so whatever.
I just really like not. Everybody does
it.
It is nicer not to have them on, but here it's like 50-50. There's not really a mandate. There's signs everywhere that says, like, due to a state mandate, you have to wear a mask, but nobody respects it at all. There's nothing. It doesn't. Yeah,
I'd say maybe 30% still mask up.
I'm in that 30%, just because I have people around me that are immune compromised, and people that like 6 people in my family have died from COVID. So it's a little personal. I hate that disease. Yeah. I mean, other people have died for other things in my family too, but COVID was like 6 in 1 year. It was rough. Those are some lonely ass funerals too. But anyway, this got real dark real fast. So humans are other animals people shouldn't eat. We are some high maintenance species right here.
Humans should definitely not be kept as pets.
No.
They smell bad. They eat a ton. They're real crafty too. In fact, they'll engineer ways to escape. If Narcos Mexico on Netflix is to be believed. Yeah, humans are terrible pets.
I've heard things. Yeah, Madonna, if you're listening, Madonna, it doesn't matter how much funds you have. Like, people make bad pets. Okay. Angelina Jolie.
Big
Brad Pitt.
cats shouldn't be pets. Wolves shouldn't be pets. Most non-domesticated canids should not be pets.
I would
Foxes
say all.
included. Yeah, like
Foxes is another thing. That's another thing I tried to get my wife to sign off on, because in Russia, you heard about that, right?
The sable foxes. Yeah.
Yeah. So they fully domesticated.
That's a little bit different. Yeah. Yeah, it's even got neoteny and everything. So that's a little bit different, right? Because that animal has been truly domesticated. Whereas, these fennec foxes that you see occasionally on the TV
sad.
with a celebrity or something, and then all of a sudden people start calling Permian Exotics asking if I've got foxes for sale. I don't. Okay, I don't. But yeah, again, it's an animal that should not be a pet. Anyway,
there's so many. I feel like a non-domesticated mammal or avian should not be kept as a pet. Just because they're too smart, they're too active. Except maybe koala. Koalas are maybe the dumbest animal on the planet. So
they're also tough to keep too. Hope you've got a lot of eucalyptus, and it's got to be alive because they won't eat it off a dish.
Really? They have to eat it off the branch?
Yeah, man. Because they're dumb.
I didn't know that.
They're really dumb. In fact, they have a crap ton of cerebral spinal fluid in their skull to protect them if they fall, because sometimes they'll reach out to not grab a limb, and they'll just tumble out.
Well, so their brains, reading about them, their brains are like, you know how there's all those like nooks and crannies in a brain? It looks like a bunch of tubing. Theirs are like flat.
Yeah, it's relatively smooth.
Yeah, so it's basically smooth. So that's like
they're not smart, man.
They're of intelligence. Yeah,
but that goes that kind of goes for all marsupials. Most marsupials are pretty dumb. They've got a unique brain structure across the board. Marsupials, they don't have a corpus callosum, which is the tissue that connects left and right hemispheres.
Okay,
so they don't have that, and then
so they're just kind of loose.
No,
it's kind of loose in there.
It's like there is no hemispheres.
Okay. It's just one big knot of tissue.
Yeah.
Huh. I wonder if them being dumb makes them better pets.
Probably not.
I know that the eucalyptus thing is a problem, but and a kangaroo will beat the hell out of you. But if you haven't seen the video of the Australian guy just walking up and punching a kangaroo that threatened his dog, that might be one of the best things I've ever seen. That guy's got balls.
It's pretty stinking straying, if you ask me.
I mean, it is
just walking up to that boomer, pow, right in the kisser.
And the thing just looks at him like, "Are you serious right now, bro?" And then it backed off. He gave him stink eye and it left. It was great. I feel like that kangaroo would have murdered him if it would have stuck around.
Oh yeah, dude, kangaroos are no joke.
When I first saw the chest of one, and they just look like they're jacked. Just their chest looks like jacked.
The freaking Rock, dude. Yes. Why does this kangaroo look like Dwayne Johnson?
With claws on the end of his fingers.
Yes.
Kangaroo, not a good pet. Need a lot of space. Can beat your ass. Wallaby, maybe.
Wallabies actually, from what I've read, do make okay pets.
Yeah, if you have the space, why not, right?
Yeah.
Get one that's acclimated to people, because if they're not, you'll never see it. Except when you're feeding it, I guess.
And I guess that...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I guess that kind of gets us back on to animals that shouldn't be pets because of space. Like when I got my first alley snapper turtle, about a year later, I went and got that pond that I keep Stumpy in, because I knew this turtle's going to grow. And where can I house a 90-pound alligator snapper in a pond like this? It's perfect for that. So, within a year of me getting turtle, I ended up getting a pond also. So,
Smart.
it's
Smart.
planning things for the future. Yeah, you have um, a glass tank that works just fine for now. Well, what about 10 years down the road? What about 20 years down the road? 30, 40, whatever. Some of these animals, these turtles and tortoises and birds can live longer than a human being. So you
Lots
have
longer.
to, yeah, in the case of some of these turtles, 2 centuries isn't unheard of. And so you have to be able to think at least 5, 10 years down the road when you're going to have to house an animal that may be getting to adult size or maybe getting into its dreaded teenage years and going through those hormonal changes. And so a lot of these considerations that I'm bringing up aren't thought of at the time. You could be at a reptile show and you're talking to this crested gecko breeder and he's telling you how great and how awesome and easy they are, and they are. But if you're not cognizant that this lizard can live 15 years, you're already setting yourself up to be at a detriment compared to somebody that has all or most of the information that they need going into it. So
Yeah.
spontaneous pet buys, not a good idea, folks.
Gifting pets, not a good idea. Even a puppy, like don't gift someone a pet. That's not a good, unless you've talked about it with them and you're just paying for the pet for them. Yeah, I feel like shows, when I was younger, shows used to get me a lot because I'd walk in with a couple $100 and walk out with something I had no business or mostly no business having. And I was the kid. Was this raw nature? Hey, I think that's a new viewer. Welcome aboard. I don't have my glasses on, so it's really hard to see. But like as a kid, like taking home a snake or finding a snake and then having it in a shoebox under my bed with some grass that I pulled up out of the yard, maybe some dirt. No, don't worry about it, Ra. We're good. And then, noticing the next couple times after you check in on it, there's not a snake in there anymore. So, yeah,
It's
I can't tell you how many garter snakes were loose
somewhere.
in my house. Yeah, because I would catch every garter snake. We have one in my yard named Stumpy. So I clipped his tail with the lawnmower
Nice. Oh,
and I
poor
watched
thing.
him take off. Yeah, I felt really bad. He probably lost the last like 2 inches because I watched him take off from almost basically under the mower and I saw the end of his tail was, bleeding. So I was like, oh, but he still lives in my yard. I saw him this year. So now I mow my lawn like about this fast. It takes me like
Just
an hour
looking,
and a
looking the
half.
whole time.
The whole time. The whole time. I want to get something for the front of it, like maybe a rake head to kind of like put vibrations out before me. That might be a good invention for people that care. But yeah, I think a lot of those wild caughts, they don't. It's Flagstaff is here too. Nice. Already knows. Yeah, unless the person you are giving an animal to already knows how to take care of it. I'll say now, I had somebody give me an ant colony that I didn't know fully how to take care of, and it's dead now. Like the ant colony died off because I didn't know what I was doing, and I made some assumptions to try to make their lives better, and I did not do that thing. It was bad.
It's
They're not like
unfortunate, but it
endangered or anything.
happens.
Yeah, they're not like endangered or anything. There's billions of this type of ant in Illinois, but still, they were one of my favorite colonies. I loved them. Fungus grower. Earlier, Menagerie mentioned primates. I think primates are the one that people want the most. And Ching, sorry, man, you didn't win. Ching, I'm sorry, buddy. I really was pulling for you. I really wanted you to win. But I think primates are one of the ones like myself. Like I've always wanted, like pygmy marmosets or something. Like a little colony. And if I win the lottery, I'm totally going to do that. But I'll have the funds to be able to take care of them appropriately. But a lot of people get into it and they have no business having a monkey or God forbid an actual like ape.
Yeah, no.
But I feel like 99% of private owners don't have any business having a primate whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are always exceptions, right? But yeah, 99.998% of the population on the planet should not have primates. There's no reason to keep an animal like that at all.
No, I feel like they're too smart. They're too much. There's too much you have to put into it. Unless you had like a colony, like a full colony, and even then you've got to keep an eye on it because if they get too many males or somebody doesn't like somebody else or they develop like, they start telling rumors about this one and this one hates them. You've got to have so many resources and so much time and energy to put into that. It's insane. Like even if you didn't have a job and that's all you did, that would be all you did is keep that whatever that colony
Yeah.
is of apes.
And then,
Because
go ahead.
there's no like individual primate that I can think of that like lives on its own. There's no like most other animals, you like a bird or like a scorpion, they're not communal. They just chill on their own. They're fine. But like, obviously there's some birds, flock birds, but I can't think of a single primate that just kind of. Oh, I guess orangutan. Is one.
Yeah, orangutans aren't very social. But yeah, man, they're all fairly social animals. And so the mental enrichment, that emotional connection, that's a ton of work. And then what happens when you accidentally piss this thing off?
Yeah. Even a small one will beat the shit out of you.
Absolutely. A small chimp could kill you easily.
Oh, a small chimp could murder you. Yeah.
And
yeah, definitely.
And then, a freaking gorilla, forget it. A chimp is what, 10 times stronger than a bodybuilder? Gorilla, I don't even know how you'd measure a gorilla's strength. But
I feel like a chimp or a gorilla can murder you on accident. Like, thank God gorillas are pretty chill. Like, they're not overtly violent, but chimpanzees are terrifying.
I think a gorilla would definitely accidentally kill you, right? But a chimp,
I think it would only be an accident. I don't think a gorilla would mean it.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, but a chimp, on the other hand, man.
A chimp? Chimps are terrifying. Terrifying.
Have you seen these things? I feel like we're having a Joe Rogan moment.
Yeah, maybe.
That dude likes chimps.
He loves to talk about chimps.
Yeah. It's like, it ripped her. Have you seen these things? It ripped her face off. Jamie, pull that up. Pull that up, Jamie.
I need a Jamie for my channel. Maybe I'll get Rick to be my Jamie. Scott keeps ants like a lot. He's getting recognized by at least by Canadian entomology groups. And he said he's recently got an ant species that he got cocky thinking he could have them and he messed them up. So I feel better. I feel better about my mistake just because of commiseration. A chimp would build something to kill you with. Yeah, I feel like a chimp would build some kind of a rudimentary spear.
Oh, man, I think I saw that there's this one group of chimps that have entered the Stone Age. They're actually using stone tools now that they shape for a purpose.
Like chipping, like when we used to chip the slate or whatever. Was that what you're talking about? Like
not quite to that degree, but yeah, they're cracking rocks to make them more effective at smashing seed pods and stuff. It's blowing my mind. Yeah,
any tool using an animal like what was it? Was it ravens or magpies or something? They bent a wire to hook worms out of a tube that they couldn't get them. They bent a wire. Like what?
Birds, man. Bird intelligence. Well, shoot, I guess. Is this just exotics, or can we talk about fish and stuff too?
Yeah,
it's like there's a ton of fish that should not be pets.
Millions. When I see an arowana in a pet store, it pisses me off. Arapaima, I've never seen an arapaima in a pet store, but I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked I haven't seen it because that's
you can get them. You can get them online right now.
An arapaima?
Oh yeah. I'm pulling up the website.
I never even tried to look. So for those of you that don't know, an arapaima gets it's the biggest freshwater fish on the planet. So, and it gets to the point
15
where
feet.
15 feet and like a couple 100 pounds, and their head is like the front of a Buick, like an old Buick. Like so dudes that fish them or farm them, they jump straight up out of the water and have caved in fishermen's chests with a headbutt. Like, it's deadly to farm them because they don't even mean to. It's an accident. It's literally an accident.
Well, okay, so you can get a 4 to a 5 inch Arapaima gigas for $200 shipped to your door.
That's ridiculous, since you would have to fill I would have to fill my basement with water to keep one, and it wouldn't be comfortable in here. It wouldn't be comfortable. They don't need deep water, to be fair. They need their water like 3 or 4 feet deep. But I don't know, having to throw a live chicken into my basement filled with water every couple hours would be a little daunting. There's plenty of fish. A lot of eels. Silver dollars, iridescent sharks. There's so many fish they sell at Petco, PetSmart, that have no business being in the pet trade, like for the common
Pacu
fish owner.
Gosh, man. Pacu. Red belly Pacu. Oh, it's cool. It looks like piranha. And then they get
sell
it
them like this big.
Yeah, they sell them, 2 to 3 inches.
They don't understand. They're like 100 pounds in the wild.
This is an animal that can get 2 to 3 feet.
And bite off testicles.
That they do in Papua New Guinea. They do have human teeth, yeah.
So I've watched so many of these dumb videos. But there's just so many fish. Some of the things they get me upset, like Socata tortoises. I don't understand why pet stores still sell these. I feel like there should be one breeder that sells them to people that are totally interested and totally committed to it. But at pet stores, you see them constantly. There's like 50 of the babies in a tank, and they're a couple $100 a piece, and people buy them not thinking they're going to get huge. 60 to 70, 60 pounds is probably average. Yeah.
Bigger, I'm sure.
Bigger.
I'm sure
they live like 150 years plus.
Yeah.
So you not only are you committing to this crazy pet, you're probably committing someone else's kid, if not yours, to this pet.
Yeah.
There's no rescue. Nobody takes them as rescues or zoos. Nobody cares anymore. They're like, no, there's billions of them. Why would I want this? Apparently they drill through drywall. They can bust through drywall.
Oh, yeah.
They don't care.
Yeah.
So why? Why do we have these? They should be, like we were talking about laws earlier. I get that you're anti like government getting into your stuff, but for the sake of the tortoises, there should be laws about this. Or rules or something. I mean, you can't just like talk to people about it. Like, hey man, maybe not. Maybe don't get these.
Hey man, you see that turtle? Definitely not for you.
Yeah, I want to talk to there's a guy I know now who owns a mom and pop pet store, and I want to talk him out of selling Socata tortoises. They're there every time I go there. They have them, and they do educate people. But I feel like people still they go, oh no, I want this tortoise. Like, they're not even listening. They're half listening. And it's an impulse buy. I feel like a lot of times it's an impulse buy or as a gift. God forbid you give that as a gift to somebody. If you watch this somehow,
which can outlive you.
Yeah. If somehow you clicked on this video and you watched the first hour and a half that we're at now, and you don't know any better, and you bought someone a Socata tortoise, you're a piece of shit. But it's like right now, just get that tattooed on your chest. I'm a piece of shit, so that everyone that finds you knows immediately, because you are. That's I feel like that's the most common one in the pet trade. That is such a big deal, because these reptiles are super smart. I didn't realize till very recently how smart they are. But if you think about creatures that haven't changed evolutionarily in like 5 million years at all, they have to be, right? They have to be intelligent.
Well, not necessarily. Possums are dumb as rocks, but they're incredibly successful. Intelligence isn't always advantageous for survival.
Fair. But I mean, possums will eat anything. They're like marsupial.
Yeah,
they're marsupials again. We're getting back to stupid marsupials.
Extremely generalized when it comes to their survival strategy. So everything is food. your butt is a monster, so you have to scream at it. And cars are one-way tickets to heaven. So that's all the possum do.
I feel like that would be a good logo for their church. Like a possum Christianity or religion would have something to do with a car sending you to heaven.
Yeah. Let's.
I always feel bad because I've always wanted one as a pet. Speaking of pets that you shouldn't have,
why
I feel like
not,
they're stupid enough. I know. I feel like they're stupid enough that they wouldn't know they were a pet. They wouldn't miss being wild. But you'd have to get it as a very small baby. And I think they would just make a great pet. I think they'd be super cool.
I think they would be just fine as a pet. I think the problem with them, though, is that they would become obese and get diabetic. Because that's what happens to pretty much everybody's possums. Even ones in zoos end up cross-eyed because they end up growing adipose tissue behind their eyes, so they get cross-eyed, and then they get diabetic and they die.
Diabetes, hit by a Buick. I have something against Buicks, apparently. I don't know. It's a balance, right? It's a wash.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose so. Because you think about it, man, you're talking about the difference of 365 days, really. In the wild, they live 2 years. In captivity, they live 3. So,
well, there you go.
Yeah.
If anybody has a hookup for a possum, let me know. Because I think that'd be awesome. I think it would
actually,
drive my cat and my wife insane.
I'll message you, or I'll talk to you after the stream ends because I might have a guy for you.
It happened. I'll have to talk to my wife. She thinks they're gross, but I think they're amazing.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
12 years
I freaking
ago.
love
still
them.
Talking about ants in the chat. Who else wants a possum as a pet in the chat right now? There's 13 viewers, which is insane for my show. Maybe we hit it big finally. I don't know. They're talking about ants still. I should just do ant shows. Oh, good.
I kind of want to get into ants, man. I started watching Ants Canada the other night. I was having trouble falling asleep, so I put on Ants Canada, and man, now I guess I kind of want some ants.
Dude, that guy. Watch some of his older videos. I feel like he was more, I want to use the word responsible about his ant ownership when he first started. So back in the day, like year 1. And now he's chasing views. He's like clickbaiting a lot of people and chasing views. And I feel like his channel's been a little bit compromised, but at the same time, I have to give him credit in the ant community for bringing so many people to it. So I don't know if you saw his crazy ant thing that he's building, the building that he's doing.
Oh, out at his new house or whatever.
It's insane. And at the same time, I'm so jealous. Like if I got 10 million viewers or whatever on YouTube and was making that kind of money and living in, where the hell is he?
Philippines.
Philippines, yes. My brain kept saying Pakistan, and I'm like, no, stupid brain. He's not in Pakistan. It's not even close.
It's the other P one.
Starts with a P, though. That's where my brain was. I feel like the American dollar goes way farther in Pakistan, or there I go again, in the Philippines than it does here. So
goes farther pretty much everywhere that isn't Europe.
There you go. So having that kind of YouTube money in the Philippines has got to be amazing for him. Underdescribed ants in the U.S. Yeah, there's underdescribed ants. Or undescribed? I don't know about that. Unless they're Raw Nature's asking if there's any undescribed ants in the U.S. I just need to make this an ant channel, apparently. I think the only ones that would be undescribed would be hitchhikers, ones that got here from somewhere else.
All right, hey, I'm going to launch a new product. You inspired me. It's a substrate for ants, and it's just red. It's just Permian Exotics red. That's it.
It's just red.
But it's just red. But I'll put a different logo on it and make it look.
I'm telling you, you can make bank. You can make bank if you could verify that they like can burrow in it well or whatever, or there's some kind of quality to it. You would make bank. The fact that springtails and isopods can live in it well would help you because a lot of people that I know that have more naturalistic setups do bioactive with ants because it's so beneficial. And mine thrive, I feel like, because of the isopods and the ants, the isopods and the springtails. So I have probably 1 million springtails in that enclosure right now, in my 29 gallon. So, which I have to actually break that. I have to go check that out after I get done with this because I'm getting escapes again.
I'll do some research on my end. I was joking about just.
Hold on, I'm losing you a little bit. That might be me. It might be me that's dipping out. I don't know. I'm kind of frozen here. Let's see. Refresh. Oh, we lost. Okay, so we lost Morris for a minute. Okay. So it's usually me, Menagerie. It's usually me. So, okay. Yeah, Scott, I was going to say, I was going to have him send you some soil to test a prototype. So since you have a ton, RIP, he'll be back. We got jammed. Damn government. Thanks, Coral. I was really excited to do the drawing today. Coral, I think you were in it. Yeah, you were in it. You were number 8. So David Koosman won. I don't know that I've seen him before or since, but I'll have to let him know somehow. I don't know how to let them know. So if anybody has any tips for using YouTube to find a user, that would be awesome. I didn't know it was called social media. I didn't know YouTube was a social media, but I guess it is. So yeah, ants. Guys, what are ants that shouldn't be kept in captivity? Because I will say I have seen almost everything kept in captivity. I haven't seen, there's not really a lot of species that I haven't seen. There seems to be a lot of talk about ants. That's why I'm asking. Ada should just be for zoos. I think you're probably right, Flagstaff. Or someone that's a very serious keeper. Army ants. Army ants, because they're basically nomads, right? They don't keep a nest. They just go from place to place. And they'll eat you. Like, as far as I know, army ants are nomads. Like, they kind of set up for the night. They kind of just set up in a ball of ants. And then every day they kind of move somewhere else because they strip everything down as they go. Which doesn't make a good pet. Bullet ants? I feel like bullet ants aren't that bad. If I remember, they can't climb glass. So they would almost be easy. Siafu. What the hell is a Siafu ant? Make me put my glasses on, bro. And they're dirty. I don't think we're getting Morris back. I'm guessing his alligator snapping turtle bit through his landline. So I'm going to try to get a hold of our winner. As I said before, this week on IsoBuddy's Facebook page, we're going to do another drawing. I'm going to put something up there, but if you're not a member, go ahead and join the IsoBuddies group. On Facebook, it's just IsoBuddies. It's not the productions. So we're going to do another drawing for some more isopods. I just want to build more keepers. So we might do a couple smaller drawings just to get people into it, get people some species they don't have. So the only thing keeping me from doing it a lot more is the cost of shipping. So I feel like that's a big, here's Morris now. All right, let's see. That wasn't awkward at all, guys. Okay, so Morris says he lost his internet service. So we can close it out here with some discussion. Morris, thanks for coming. If you're not watching this now on your phone. Morris was kind of a fill-in guest because I had someone cancel on me again. It's been a whole thing. Next week, I've got Scott coming in. Scott Ellicott's going to be our guest. He has also been he's going to be a fill-in guest as well, because I had another guy cancel. People don't take this thing seriously. So next week is Scott Ellicott. We're going to talk about ants. The week after that, guys, is Oren McMonigal. For those of you that don't know, just Google him. He literally wrote the book on most invertebrates. So he's got at least a dozen books out, countless articles in publications. He used to editor-in-chief for some publications for invertebrates. I will, Flagstaff. I'll give him yours. And the winner's name was David Kussman. And it's Flagstaff and Scott. I'm going to give Morris your guys' information so you can contact him. I think you should definitely have springtails raw. I think you absolutely should have springtails in all of your setups. 100%. I think springtails, there's not enough things I can say that are good about having springtails. Morris says, thanks for having me on. Morris, I will always have you on. So if I haven't talked to you in a while, reach out. There's like 5 guests that I will take on anytime that I have a spot. Definitely get some springtails. Ants are awesome. I think there's not enough ant keepers. Do your homework first. I'm struggling all the time with my big colony because they test you. They're smart. They're relentless. They are relentless at trying to do what they want to do rather than what you want them to do. Yeah, Menagerie, get in that giveaway game for sure. Or reach out to me. I'll send you stuff for shipping cost. So if you're in the 48 states, all right. There's just a lot of things that we have going on. You just got 2 of his books. His books are great. And I will say I was very intimidated to try to interview Oren. I was like, I'm going to geek the whole time. I'm going to geek out. And then I read literally one sentence, not the first sentence, but I was going through the book, reading about species that I liked or was interested in, read one sentence, and it immediately relieved me of all of my intimidation to interview him. So it made him a real person instead of like this icon that I've never met before. I've heard good things that he's a really down-to-earth guy, so I think it should be a really fun interview. I'm imagining it to be a lot like interviewing Russ Wilson from Aquarimax. If you haven't watched those interviews, go back and watch those. They're really good. Anyway, we've got a lot of big interviews coming up, guys. Next week, I'm excited to talk to Scott. We're going to talk about diapause with ants. We're going to talk more about ants, but we're going to talk diapause. It's going to be the main focus, which I never stay focused. Bottom line today, I hope we learned something or had some deep thoughts about creatures you just shouldn't keep. At the very least, do your homework, and if you can't do it, if you can't make the animal happy, don't get the animal. Do your homework and decide for yourself if you can do what it takes to keep that animal happy. And if you can't, obviously say no. Learn to say no. I have that problem myself. I don't know how to say no. And I used to be the rescue guy. We talked about the ins and outs of rescue a couple weeks ago as well. And I think that we get in trouble with rescue a lot, offering to rescue. You're friends with David Kussman on Facebook? Reach out to him. Thank you. I don't know how to reach out to him on YouTube. Menagerie, it is not a small world of invert nerds. There are a ton, and there's only going to be more because they're so awesome. So thank you everybody for watching. We had the most viewers throughout the whole episode that I've ever seen. So I think that speaks a lot to my audience. I love you guys. I hope we keep growing. If you know anybody that might be interested in anything we talk about on this show, which is everything, throw them my link. Like, throw them my link. If you haven't already, like, subscribe. Obviously, you're subscribed already. Share with people. I'd love to see this thing grow. 164. I'm ecstatic to have that many subscribers, but I would love to see even more. So pretty much everybody who is subscribed is the ones watching. So I know that that's not the case. I know it's not that we just have randoms watching. So please just share the love. Bring more people in. Again, we're going to have Scott Ellicott next week to talk about ants. And as we can see with the comments here today, people are interested in ants. So let's do that. Thank you for coming. Hope you had as much fun as I did. Thank you so much, Menagerie. I'm glad you learned something too. So we'll talk to you guys next week, next Tuesday. Same bad time, same bad channel.